Hello, hello, hello. It's Seeing Red, the New York Sound, the New York Soccer Roundup. We are here. We're very excited because we have a chance once again for the second time in 2025 to do a watch along as the Red Bulls get ready to take on Toronto FC in a place where traditionally they've done very, very well. New York's on a 13-game unbeaten streak, all against Toronto FC, unless you happen to count the shootout following the League's Cup match last season, which I certainly don't. Nevertheless, if you're here, give a shout in the comments. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us how excited you are about to get into everything Red Bulls tonight as New York tries to get off the schneid. Of course, they lost last time out at Austin FC. Not the most fun. We've got the starting lineups for both teams. Here's the New York Red Bulls starting lineup. Coronel in goal. We have both Edwards and Duncan on the back line, along with Hack and Noah Ayla. And then it's a 4-2-2-2 tonight for Red Bulls. Carvalho playing in, frankly, what's going to be looks like is going to be his last game at the New York Red Bulls. Next to Danny Edelman, Emil Forsberg, and Wiki Carmona, and then Lewis Morgan and Mohamed Sofo up top. 7:23. It's almost time to break into the broadcast. Here's what Toronto lines up with. They've got Sean Johnson in goal tonight. They've got a back line of Petretta, Rosted, Long, and Montlouis. They're playing a 4-3-3 tonight with Longstaff, Dominguez, and Coelho, who got the goal last time out. Against New York. And then Corbianu, Brynhildsen, and your friend and mine, Derek Etienne Jr., MLS Cup champion and former Red Bull, Derek Etienne Jr. playing on the left. So Toronto hasn't played a game in a month. Literally, they have been off for some time. They're missing lots of players. Here's the Toronto absences for tonight. They've got a lot of meaningful players, including Richie Larea and Jonathan Osorio, who are playing with the Canadian national team. Bernadeschi is questionable for tonight. He actually did not dress. Insigne did dress, but he did not. He's not starting for New York. And then for the Red Bulls, a limited number of absentees. Thankfully, Cam Harper, we saw earlier today, had knee surgery to repair an MCL, and he will be out for the rest of the season, which really stinks because we all know that when he is in a good place, the Red Bulls are in a good place. Choupo-Moting not in the starting lineup tonight due to an abdominal injury. We may or may not see much from him in the course of the evening. Actually, let's see if he is even dressed tonight. Let's pull up the full lineups if we can. We'll get that to see if he dressed. New York again, looking to get off the schneid after a loss last time. Let's see. Choupo did not dress. He is out for tonight. He's not going to be playing. But nevertheless, the Red Bulls have had a 500 record all time against Toronto. They are up at BMO Field. They're very confident playing against them. As we said, they haven't lost to Toronto since way back in 2019, which is a 13-match streak. Absolutely crazy. And so if you didn't join us during our watch along we had earlier this season at Nashville, you're going to watch the game. I'm going to watch the game, and we're going to talk about the game. And you're going to be able to take part through your comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're watching on Facebook. If you put your comments in the chat where you see there, I can absolutely get it up and live. Live from Metro at Seeing Red. Yes, it certainly is. So thank you so much for joining. We really, really appreciate that. I hope to have Mike Batista with us tonight at some point. He's going to give us a little bit of his opinion on everything that's happening here. Again, New York going with their traditional 4-2-2. You can see on the bottom of the page the lineup. Here is Toronto. Interestingly enough, Not just that Derek Etienne is starting against the Red Bulls. He has their lone assist against us this year earlier in the season. Bernadeschi and Insigne, neither of them are starting. Insigne's on the bench. They have five combined. They have 5 of Toronto's 17 goals this year, and that's not in the starting lineup. Ola Brynhilsen, the Norwegian who's playing center forward for Toronto, he has 2 goals and 1 assist in 12 games. And he's one of those players, frankly, that is just not pulling his own weight. This is a bad Toronto side, folks. They've only played, they have 3 wins on the season. Again, they haven't won in a bit. New York is 4-0-1 against Toronto over their last 5 contests. Again, I'm counting that Leagues Cup game as a draw and not a shootout loss. Hello, Gary. Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for joining in for a little bit. We're getting the flag waving montage right now from MLS Season Pass. And as soon as we go live, we can talk about it. And again, this is just an ability. If you're sitting at home watching, please share this broadcast with your friends. Please tell your Red Bulls buddies to come. You can add your comments here. If you haven't before, the liking and subscribing, super, super important. Let me drink. As we continue to build our subscriber numbers, again, as I said, Sing Red co-host Mike Batista should be joining at some point tonight. So you don't have just this face for radio here, but the goal is to give you an added dimension of Red Bulls. I know that streaming can be tricky. By the time MLS streams it, it comes to my eyes, and I push this out through the platform to you. It may be some minutes before we're all synced up together. But the fact of the matter is, it's a great way to join in with other Red Bulls fans and watch a game. So I hope that you'll take this opportunity. If you're at a bar and they're putting on the match, well, good for you and good for them. Again, here's what we have in terms of the Red Bulls lineup. We'll have Toronto's. Toronto's missing a whole bunch of players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players for Toronto out tonight, including, again, Richie Larea and Jonathan Osorio, who are playing for Jesse Marsch with the Canadian national team. Match coverage will begin soon, or so we've done. The Red Bulls start the night in 8th place in the MLS East. There are 11 games on the table tonight, and so there are a whole lot of teams about to take the field. New York can perhaps move up to as high as 5th on this on the table. They can't drop out. No, they can drop out of the playoff table tonight, which would be obviously not great. New York is going to be returning home on Saturday night to take on Minnesota United. Joe Goldstein's favorite, Minnesota United, in an East-West showdown on Superhero Night at Sports Illustrated Stadium. There's certainly lots to talk about when it comes to the team. Sadly, again, Cam Harper is going to be out for the rest of the season, it looks like, after undergoing knee surgery earlier today on his socials, talking about how his surgery was a success and a real shame for Harper and for New York. I mean, here's a young player who's got a recovery road ahead of them, and it's not going to be ideal. But what are you going to do? 7:30 on my clock. I don't know what it is on yours. Still waiting for the broadcast to go live. Again, Choupo-Moting is out. I know he was listed as questionable. He won't play tonight. Up top for New York will be Mohamed Sofo and Lewis Morgan. And I think Red Bull fans obviously are hoping for a little bit more of seeing Forsberg, Choupo, and Lewis Morgan all on the field at the same time. That is not going to happen tonight, nor did it happen in Austin a few nights ago. So very frustrating for New York trying to get their 3 players going. Also very interesting that Carvalho is starting tonight. His loan ends for New York in 5 days. There are no accounts, despite the team sources talking about how, in fact, New York is trying their best and making moves to put together an offer for Carvalho, either to extend his loan or to buy him outright. There have been messaging rumors in social media talking about a Swedish defensive midfielder from the Polish league coming over in the transfer window, which would certainly indicate that that this tonight will be Carvalho's last game in a Red Bulls uniform. Toronto last beat New York in regulation in the before times when we did not know what COVID was or whether or not it would be coming for us. But it's been a real long time since Toronto has beaten New York. This lineup is kind of DP free for Toronto. It's only Brynhildsen, the 26-year-old Norwegian striker that's in the lineup. MLS Season Pass now going through the lineups on screen. Again, Kevin Long playing in the central defense for Toronto is no relation. Here's the midfield. Derek Etienne Jr., our friend and mine, your friend and mine, he's getting the start. They're calling this a 3-5-2 for Toronto FC, playing at home. Again, Toronto has not played in a month. And it looks like BMO Field is definitely devoid of fans on what should be a bright night in the big Canadian city. Again, here's the 4-2-2-2 coming through with Caravaggio. Oh, they're calling it a 4-2-3-1, which is really, really interesting because I don't see Sofa perhaps trying to use his speed on the outside wing to break down and get Morgan. I mean, we all know that Morgan is not the same hold-up player that we've seen out of Chupo. He just has a different skill set altogether. So it'll be really interesting to see what 4-2-3-1 with Morgan as the striker. Of course, while he was tearing it up a couple of years ago in MLS, scoring the most goals in a single season that we've seen since Bradley Wright Phillips, he was often playing not just on the left but also up top. We're looking at some we're looking at some highlights now of New York's 2-1 win against Toronto back earlier in the season at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Thought that was good. Nice to see Forsberg breaking down the middle. Again, if you're just logging in for the first time on YouTube in particular, if you could subscribe to the channel, if you haven't already, that would be really, really great. The players are in the tunnel. The players are out of the tunnel. They are on the pitch. New York is wearing the Stone kit. Toronto FC is wearing their Reds at home, which are actually not too shabby. And they're going to break there. What do you think? What's your prediction for tonight's game? Please, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, put in the chat right now. We won't hold you to it. What do you see the final score being? Please let us know. Let us know on what we might see. That would be great. All right. I'm going to my iPad to make sure that I'm not sucking down too much bandwidth so we can get that going. So we're going to stop this there, and hopefully that'll solve some bandwidth issues. And we're going to watch on the iPad to make sure we can see. Excellent. Thanks so much for signing in again. Put in the comments right now, what do you think? What is your prediction for tonight's match? Is New York going to be able to go and extend that unbeaten streak to 14 games? Thank you. Thank you. All right. Here's Christian on YouTube said an optimistic 3-0 victory. Awesome. Matt Burlew, hello, hello. It says 2-0 for the Red Bulls. Rudy Seferin, these are all long-time Seeing Red fans. 3-1, maybe a farewell assist goal on the road for Caravaggio. Would be fantastic. Would be great. You're going to see me kind of looking down as I've got my iPad now having the game, because trying to stream off of the laptop while watching the game on the laptop, I think, is a little too much for my machine. But nevertheless, curious if you guys have attended any Club World Cup games or Gold Cup games yet. What are your thoughts overall on the Club World Cup? What are your thoughts overall on the Gold Cup being played at the same time? It seems like for soccer fans, there is a complete and utter overload right now going on. And the fact that there are 11 MLS matches tonight, throw in some lower level matches as well. It's just too much. It's too much soccer. I think everything's getting kind of lost. And perhaps that's why on what should be a hot night, at least for Toronto fans, they are not exactly flocking in droves to BMO Field. Although, to be fair, their team has won just 3 times in 18 games, 17 games, 17 games. 3 wins. They're only ahead of Montreal on the New York table. But nevertheless, we're glad you're settling in here with Seeing Red. Live watch along. Red Bulls, Toronto FC. I mean, these teams have been going at each other since Toronto came into the league back in the early 00s. I think they were 2005, 2007, maybe 2007. These teams have played some epic matches together. Of course, the 2017 Eastern Conference final, a big part of that. We can't forget too soon Josie Altidore and Sasha Kljestan mixing it up in the tunnel when New York goes out on away goals, which is one of the very creative ways that the Red Bulls have gone out. Again, if it's your first time watching Seeing Red, we really appreciate you staying with us. I'm watching the game. You're watching the game. Even if you're not watching the game, maybe you don't have MLS Season Pass. Maybe I am the conduit for you. And again, we hope to have Mike Batista here to add some color. Yeah, that heartbreaking 1-0 win on the road back then. That was really tough for the Red Bulls. That was the year before they went and won their third Shield. Those days seem very far away, frankly. Hey, there's Keith who says, howdy, Mark. Hello, Keith. Thank you so much for joining as the Red Bulls get ready to kick off against Toronto FC at BMO Field. I'm going to watch the game. You're going to watch the game. We're going to be able to chat and talk together about what we're seeing. We've had some good predictions so far about what the final score might be. If you haven't thrown your prediction in, only wins here. We've got a 3-0 win from Christian. Matthew Burlew calls it a 2-0 Red Bulls win. Rudy Seferin calls it a 3-1 Red Bull win. But if you're watching and you haven't contributed your prediction for tonight, literally now is the time to do that before the teams kick off, which should be happening in about 1 minute's time. Again, the Red Bulls are looking to go 4 wins of 5 on the trot at Toronto, a team that they have handled quite well. 13 straight unbeaten in regulation against Toronto FC. And I don't care what two teams are in the league. In a league of parity, that's just hard to do. These teams, Toronto in particular, are at, I think, year 3 or 4 of their big, expensive Italian name era. Neither Bernardeschi nor Insigne have provided for them in any sort of way. I'm sure they're living real high on the hog. Be really kind of interesting what Michael Bradley thinks, Red Bulls 2 coach, as he gets ready to take on TFC 2 at some point in the near future. Apple TV calling this 45% win probability. I don't think another team on the road is going to get better odds all year than the Red Bulls 45% to win at Toronto FC, almost 28% to draw. That's a large bet that New York is going to come out with points tonight on the road. The ref is ready. Philip Duchik is ready. He's our ref. We're going to turn that off. The fans are ready. The players are ready. The VAR guys are ready. I hope you're ready. I'm ready. It's been too long since this team played. 10 days? Come on, man. Hope you all are going to be at Red Bull Arena in the jar, Sports Illustrated Stadium on Saturday night as New York hosts Minnesota for a loon out on Superhero Night. Cornell's ready. It looks hot. This is still, I believe, a fake pitch. Is it? Maybe not. I've gotten the alert on my phone that the game is already kicked off. Wow, there is no one there. Oh, my Lord. That's not a fashionably late crowd in Toronto. That is a mostly absent crowd in Toronto. And for those of you that might take umbrage for that, the only thing I'm going to ask you is, if New York was a 3-win team right now, would they be even drawing this many fans in Harrison? The game is off. This was the game that Lewis Morgan and Patrick Lamala combined for a whole lot of goals. Lewis Morgan had a hat trick right as his Red Bull time was starting. That was that first game of the season back in 2023, I think it was 2022. Nevertheless, as always, the Red Bulls are looking to put pressure on early in the game, and you can see it coming right from the get-go. And Toronto plays it over their own sideline. Nope, oh, it went off a Red Bull. All right, here we go. I'm not going to be doing play-by-play for this game. We're just watching together. That was a push in the back. Come on, man. MLS Season Pass says that these kits are tan. Tan is not a term that I would use necessarily to describe them. Well, I guess they probably are. Again, the Red Bulls, Toronto FC, it's been all Red Bulls in this rivalry going back the last 6 years, unless you count that playoff shootout win in the League's Cup last season that knocked the Red Bulls out of that competition early in the group stage, which was a little frustrating. I don't necessarily think that Sandro Swartz had a hard time with that. Be curious to see. I know Lewis Morgan is up top alone in this lineup. It'll be curious to see how he is able to turn on the Jets and create opportunities for himself. You want to see Sofo a little further along there around the right sideline. And Sofo's speed, I think, is going to be a big factor in this game. Keeping Toronto narrow as they attack, right? You've got Edwards playing on the left and Duncan playing on the right. You want to make sure that Toronto is not attacking down Edwards' side as much as possible. Nevertheless, we're still in the opening minutes, Red Bulls and Toronto FC. It's a nice ball floated in. That's a thumb up from Lewis. He was kind of looking back into the sun there, at least for the next little while. What have you guys been doing to deal with the heat over the last few days in the New York Metro? It has been absolutely brutal. Put it in the comments. Let us know. I think the weather is finally going to break tomorrow. Forsberg is dispossessed in the center of the field. Not great. New York's able to pull it back pretty fast. Again, I don't want Sofo getting the ball there. I want him further up the field than just over the midway line. I know he's not on the front line tonight. That is not what he's being asked to do, but to really act as a wing attacker rather. And so that link between Duncan and Sofo will be definitely one to watch. Look how far up Edwards is. What is happening? Interesting. New York able to turn? No, they are not. It's just so tough right now to think about all the soccer being played in North America and the fact that Toronto's when Toronto is good, the fans turn out. They definitely do. They are not turning out tonight. Here's TFC with their first kind of breakthrough and breakdown. Ayla retreating and retreating. Where is Edwards to help? He's curled into the middle. This is Toronto with their first sustained possession of the match. We're about 4 minutes in as they pull it back. It's amazing that Sean Johnson is still doing his thing in MLS. Johnson is, how old is Johnson? 36. He's still got a few years left to make an impact for sure. Be curious to see how Toronto is going to try to break New York down. Again, this team has scored 17 goals in 17 games on the season, and they are without Bernadeschi, who's not playing tonight, and they're without Insigne, who's on the bench. Look at that. Here's Lewis Morgan getting his first look. No, that's Forsberg. Apologies. I'm not wearing my glasses. Okay. You can see what New York's trying to do right away, which is to go over the top in the center of the field. There's Robin Fraser. Red Bull fans certainly know Robin Fraser, former assistant coach under Jesse Marsh. He's a very well-respected name. That is way offside. No, it is not. What just happened? Are they calling the flag now? Very, very strange. The flag remains down. All right. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's off. Come on, man. Very, very odd. All right. But again, that partnership between Forsberg and Lewis Morgan, I think, is going to be fun to watch as those guys figure out after most of the season without Lewis Morgan how they're going to figure out how to play together. We've yet to have a shot on target. It's 6 minutes in. We've yet to have a shot off target. We've yet to have a shot. Here's New York. That's a good pass. Let's go. We have certainly seen Wiki Carmona in the 10th row plenty of times. There's Volkan Bulut, who is serving as the active head coach. As of course, Sandro Schwartz is suspended for tonight's match due to yellow card accumulation. Volkan Bulut has been with the team as long as Sandro Schwartz has been in charge of the Red Bulls. So coming up, he's about a season and a half in. There's a foul on Toronto. That's nice. Who is the one player you want to see tonight, guys, to make a difference? Please put it in the chat. Let's get that chat going. Matt says, why delay when it's so obviously offside? That's a really good question. I know that ARs across the league have been told to really kind of let it go when it is even close. Now, I didn't think that was close. I'm sure you didn't think that was close either, but they have been trained to let plays develop and go. I think it was the Toronto fans, the Toronto players that just kind of stopped playing there. But thank you, Matt, for the question. 7 minutes in, again, over the top. This is what New York is doing. Lewis. There's Caravaggio playing in most likely is his last game as a Red Bull. That's a nice triangle. They've got to figure out how to get it in by then. Wiki was making a good run. I don't know if they're going to really find Wiki in the final third. All right. Keeping alive. Here's the overlapping run. Not great by Sofo, but a great recovery. Duncan going long. That's a little bit heavy. All right. Well, we've seen New York go to the middle a couple of times, and then we see New York do something I think that everyone's familiar with, and that is cycle it around the corner. Here's a Rudy who says, honestly, even if he doesn't score assists, I just want to see how Morgan is adjusting to being back on, especially with starting today. Agree 100%, Rudy. Agree. I think all Red Bull fans are hoping for great things from Mr. Morgan, and that the sooner he gets settled in, the better it's going to be for everybody. I don't know where you are on your clock. I'm coming up on 8:45 as you see this. So I don't know whether I'm right on time with you, a few seconds ahead, a few seconds behind. Again, Sofo trying to go in. I really appreciate New York trying to generate attack into the center of the Toronto defense, because I don't know about you, but I get really tired of the endless corner cycling from corner to corner. So I am really glad for that. There is no score in this game so far, to the surprise of no one if you're watching. Let's take a look at that possession. FootMob has Toronto with 54% possession, and that is not correct at all. Not right. That might be a minute or two behind. Here's the left corner cycle. That's a good idea. Again, the challenge of the Red Bulls attack over the last little while is just the ball watching, and it's really important to look at the players in the attacking third, and are they moving off the ball? Oof. Are they moving off the ball? Are they giving opportunities to be found? Are they calling for the ball? It's Dominguez. We're 10 minutes in, and this Seeing Red live watch along as the Red Bulls take on Toronto FC. I'm watching the game, you're watching the game, and we're talking about the game here. And that's fun. That's good stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, Sofo is in. Oh! That was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Pulling the ball back to the spot. A terrific is that offside? A terrific save by Sean Johnson. an attempt that you really want to see Forsberg do a little bit with. Oh, now they're calling that offside. That was so much closer than the first opportunity. But again, over the top is where it's at. That's a good stop by Johnson. That's what you want to see from Sopo, and frankly, that's why you play him on the right, because he's got that speed to be able to break down just a shade offside. John Johnson's been playing in this league for a very, very long time. 12th minute, Red Bulls, TFC. What do you like so far that from what you've seen? Please put it in the chat. Again, let's get that chat going. What are you proud of from New York so far? Just manufacturing goals has been such a challenge for Toronto. There's Derek Etienne, Patterson's own, MLS Cup champion. Boy, did that hurt. You guys know the story that Dennis Hamlet was all set to send him to a team in France, I believe, and then turned around and traded him to Cincinnati, which at the time was not a great move. Not happy. Not happy. Here's Toronto with a little more possession. Okay. Looks hot. Looks hot in the sun. If you're sitting in the sun at BMO Field tonight, you are, that's the Eye of Sauron out there. Current MLS season. Yes. Thank you. Brilliant graphics on Mohamed Sofo with his 11 games, 4 goals, 8 shots. Current MLS season. Okay. Let's get it started, please. Carvaggio's loan ends in 5 days. Do you think that this is his last game in a Red Bulls uniform? Yes or no? Please put it in the comments. And do you think his time here has been a good one? He's been here for a year. Now, a lot of 2025 he's spent injured, unfortunately. Let's see how many appearances he has. Where are you? Caravaggio. Literally, where are you? 14 appearances, 8 starts, only 823 minutes this year. Really not super impactful, but I think that as Caravaggio gets ready to leave, as I think he will take 2 of the most important goals in Red Bull's playoff history. He will be really, truly a folk hero, and I am absolutely convinced that that if he stayed healthy for that MLS Cup, New York would have won the game. Kevin Brunn says, yes, Carvaggio's last game will remember the playoff bangers, and that's about it. Well, I have to tell you, the playoff bangers is something that, there aren't a ton of in Red Bull's history. So I think that's right. And thank you for watching, Kevin. Coming up on 15 minutes. I think it's fair to say that New York has had the better of the play over the first phase of the game. The betting lines right now that Bet365 is offering is Toronto is 433 to win. New York is 191 to win. So that tells you, oh, that was dreadful. That's a foul. All right. Again, this is not exactly scintillating soccer that we're seeing as the New York Red Bulls take on Toronto FC at BMO Field. It looks hot. There are very few people there. Toronto hasn't beaten New York in 6 years, and all good. So there we go. New York cycling it around. This is not one for the all-time best 30 games in MLS so far in MLS history in the 30th season. Oh, that was absolutely dreadful. Say what you want about Toronto's inability to score, but if New York's high press defense is going to truly have a hard time holding on to the ball at midfield, this could be not a great night. New York needs to go forward here and stretch the defense, and maybe that's what Sofo can do. Or what Duncan can do, or they can play it back to the center back. Again, Toronto putting everyone behind the ball. The notion that they're bunkering at home 16 minutes into a scoreless game is somewhat silly. All right, let's see what Sofo. Oh, all right. As Sofo matures, he's going to be able to take that down with a little more skill and hopefully beat the man. Very, very upset to hear about Cam Harper's, it looks like it's a season-ending injury, as the midfielder had MCL surgery earlier today, posting on his socials that his surgery was a success, and it looks like 5 to 6 months of rehab, which would most certainly take him out of any more 2025 activities. For players like Harper, for players like Morgan, I mean, time is a thief, and New York better do right by him. Okay, here's Toronto breaking down two players. Watch the cut. Yeah, that is the story of the 2025 Toronto FC season. Ale is shaking his head. He's a little upset because he wanted more help. That's not great. He should not have to cover all that room. Rudy says, which is why it's important to score early. Indeed, New York's got to get the first and then get the second, then get the second, and then put this game to bed and walk away with the 3 points, which hopefully will get them a little further up the table. There are 4 games going on right now in MLS. Montreal hosting Cincinnati, Columbus hosting Atlanta, New England hosting Nashville in this game, and there is not a single goal in any of them. It's a no-goal Wednesday. It's so upsetting that this game is being held on a weekday, and both Toronto and Montreal are so wonderful in the summer months, and notwithstanding all the geopolitics around, our current governing structure, but like visiting Canada is super fun, and weekends at these games are super fun. And here is a fantastic goal that is in the net. Way to go. Woo! Mohamed Sofo with his 5th goal of the season. Phenomenal, phenomenal strike. It's really, the play was all put together earlier in the possession, and that's a tap in that Sofo will absolutely take. The Red Bulls will absolutely take it. That is absolutely onside. Yes, he is onside. Lewis Morgan is absolutely onside. That I would love to have finished that, and Sofo is absolutely in the right place at the right time. New York takes a 1-0 lead, and I think that's terrific. And the Red Bulls are doing exactly what they're supposed to, and that's taking a lead on the road. The defense falling apart. I think VAR will probably look at this, but listen, at the end of the day, sitting on Toronto's back line is absolutely what New York should be doing. Johnson looking around, hoping for a flag. Let's see. Yep, that's Sofo's 5th. Absolutely phenomenal. Mohamed Sofo and Omar Valencia are the 2 stories of this Red Bulls team in 2025. They have been terrific. Sofo now is tied with, if you can believe it, Emil Forsberg for 2nd on this team in goal scoring. Just insane. With the goal, New England has also scored at Nashville. The Red Bulls right now are 5th in MLS East, 2 points behind Columbus, who's currently tied. Again, those are live stats, which will certainly change. And here come the Red Bulls once again, breaking up 3-on-3, and that is a dreadful, dreadful opportunity pass from Lewis Morgan, who looks upset, but New York's got to keep playing here as they are defending. Okay. Lewis Morgan can't drop his head in situations like that. You make a bad pass, that's fine. And I know you're working your way back. And it looks really hot in Toronto. Like it looks really hot. But oh no. You've got to be kidding me. Lewis Morgan is down on the ground. I cannot believe what I am seeing. I can't believe it. If Morgan is hurt again, if Morgan has hurt himself again, what are we doing? 77 degrees at kickoff. Well, that's hot for Toronto. Oh no is right. If Lewis Morgan can't go, oh my lord. What do you even do? What do you even do? If he's out for even more time, here comes Victor Bogash. Not controversial at all, Dan. Thank you so much for joining and watching on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Ugh. I mean, what do you even say? What do you even say about Lewis Morgan? How it's incomprehensible to me that he has injured himself to the point where he has taken himself right out of the game. I Jeffrey Cooley says, I know we love Morgan, but how much more time does he spend injured before we accept that he just can't stay healthy? I mean, not gonna lie, if Morgan is significantly injured and Morgan has to miss 4, 6, 8 weeks, I mean, what do you even do? What a crime. Victor Bogac is in. The MLS salary list came out earlier today for the year. We know that, let's just sort this column. You know, going on base salary, Emil Forsberg, 5.4, Choupo-Moting, 3.2, Lewis Morgan, 1.25 million, and Carvaggio at $1,050,000 is most likely playing his last game with the Red Bulls ever. Victor Bogac is making $390K. Oh, yeah, that's a misconnection in the attacking third. Boy, Lewis Morgan coming out of this game is just deflated. I would imagine the entire squad. And so the question really is, Victor Bogash, notwithstanding, oh, that's a great run. That is a phenomenal run down the left and a terrible clearing pass into the center of the attack that went to nobody, and that's a foul. All right. 25 minutes in, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The Red Bulls are leading 1-0 on the 20th minute goal by Mohamed Sofo. But at the same time, hello, Blue Jay fan, but at the same time, Lewis Morgan comes out a few minutes later with an apparent knee challenge. He is out of the game, replaced by Victor Bogash. And I think, the comments again have just shared that if the guy is just unable to stay healthy, if he just can't do it, New York eventually is going to have to look for other things. Just a terrible turn of events at BMO Field. New York leads 3-1, 2 shots on target, and the goal by Sofo on a rebound from Sean Johnson from Lewis Morgan's shot. Hard not to feel, even with the lead, it's hard not to feel dejected right now. Just brutal. Still, New York has to stay focused. They have to stay focused on the task of hand. They've got to get this second goal hopefully before halftime and really put this game away and turn their focus as quickly as possible. I know it's crazy. The Red Bulls are used to playing every 72 hours. They do that between now and Saturday when they host Minnesota United. Rudy says a terrible injury bug has hit the team. Morgan, Harper, Nealis, Morales. Jeez, Morales is healthy, by the way. Dylan Nealis is healthy. He was available for selection. So I agree, though. The amount of man games lost this season due to injury is absolutely insane. And Chupo, who did not dress tonight. That is a garbage back pass. Oh, here we go. Look, I love the confidence of possessing the ball in the attacking third. New York continues to push up here. Okay. 27:31 on my clock. Thank you so much for watching this live watch along with the Red Bulls Toronto FC. Mark Fishkin here, Seeing Red. We've been doing this since 2010. We haven't been doing this since 2010. We've been doing Seeing Red since 2010, and it's a long time, and we're in our second year on YouTube, and we're so glad that you took a few minutes to join us and watch with us. Toronto cannot seem to get out of their own end, and if there's anyone you have to worry about, it's Derek Etienne, who still at his advanced age is still has the wheels. New York again. Toronto's attackers have really pushed up quite a bit. Cesar Hernandez says, I missed the first goal. I just got home. Let me tell you about it. Lewis Morgan broke in right on the defensive line, took a shot from the right. Sean Johnson, who parried it right into the path of Mohamed Sofo. You can find it on your socials. That's 1-0 for the Red Bulls. Unfortunately, Lewis Morgan had to come out of the game 8 minutes later after picking up what looked like another knee knock, which is garbage. But nevertheless, Caesar, I'm really, really glad you've joined us for this watch along. I hope you can watch the game and join us kids as well as we both watch together and check it out. I mean, this is kind of what you'd expect against a team that really has a hard time scoring. And now Toronto is breaking in with a fantastic, fantastic save on the back line. That was an incredible tackle by Alexander Hack, who, is not an everyday player. Noah Ayala goes up for it. He's bodied off the ball. Not only does Hack make that tackle, he tracks back on Corbianu and sweeps the ball away before Corbianu can take a shot off. That is tremendous stuff. New York looking to break. Boy, I feel so much. This is a fantastic break. All right. No call. No way. That's garbage. Half hour in. Here are the stats. New York again out shooting Toronto 3-1, out possessing them with 58%. They've made they're out passing Toronto 156-94. They it's mostly New York. I want to say all New York. That goes into the 20th row. Toronto's not a good team, folks. They've only won 3 times all year. Here's Angelo Greco watching on the Facebook. Thanks, Angelo. We need another bad. We do need another goal. We most certainly do. New York's working on it. Wiki Carmona leading the game in most miles run, miles run. I would not have pictured that. Rudy says a Toronto attack is abysmal, but we can't keep giving them opportunities. Matt Burlew says we need to tighten up here. A better team would punish us. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. But again, I don't think New York, I mean, I know Chupo is out tonight. I know Lewis Morgan is hurt, and I can't imagine, given what we just saw, that we're going to see him on the field on Saturday. I'm also curious if New York goes up 2, what kind of rotation you're going to see. Again, the Red Bulls played 9 games in May. Nope, don't go back there. There you go. So good, Noah Ayla. So smooth. But this is getting blown up. Toronto's getting a lot of looks and a lot of possession. And New York's really got to, I think, possess the ball out of danger here. There we go. Just have it. Just have it. Emil Forsberg knows what to do. Just have it. Have the ball. Ugh. Come on. Forsberg also has to know when to give it up. And maybe he doesn't have anyone to pass to right then. That's pretty. Yeah, New York's got to slow this match down. Oh! It's not a foul, is it? Everybody's got to come out and defend here. I'm not loving Edwards on this. And yet, he made it work. Way to go, Raheem Edwards. Yeah, that's it. Slow it down. Slow it down and just possess the ball up the field. Thank you. 33 minutes in. The Red Bulls lead 1-0. On Mohamed Sofo's 5th goal of the year, he's offside. Mohamed Sofo's 5th goal of the year, which brings him even with Emil Forsberg in goals for this team. And in case you were wondering, Mohamed Sofo makes $130,000 a year. That's 26 grand a goal, and that is not too shabby. That is a rate that New York will absolutely take. Sofo is 4th on the team, tied with Harper in goals plus assists. All 5 of his points are goals, though. Good stuff for Mohamed Sofo. What a find. Truly, what a find. And huge ups to Ibra Sakaya for bringing in Sofo. I know my friend Daniel Rebane often says that if you've been watching Sofo at Red Bulls 2, you would know that both he and Omar Valencia were MLS ready. To my detriment, I have not been tracking those players at Red Bulls 2 for some time, but they both have definitely taken the step up and are contributing, both of them, in major ways. I'm kind of curious why Valencia isn't starting tonight. Maybe it's just a nod. Can Sofo track this? Maybe it's just a nod to Edwards' Canadian roots. He's a Toronto native that he's playing tonight. As we still wait for the MLS debut of Marcelo Morales, which I've been told will happen sometime soon. Here's New York breaking into the box, chased by 3 Toronto defenders. I like this cycling. Cycling up, I said too soon. Cycling when you're up a goal, I'm fine with that. Edwards looks a little frustrated, but he's got to come back and play. All right, we'll take that all day. Let's take a look at the scores from around MLS and see how we're doing. Montreal and Cincinnati still knotted up. Columbus up 2 on Atlanta. Boy, Atlanta is not a good team in 2025. New England leading at Nashville. Oh, I'm sorry. They're leading Nashville. The Red Bulls are the only road team to have scored and the only road team that is leading at this point. And should these results hold? Here's a break. All right, let's see. Here we go. Victor, what you got? All right. Victor Bogas making Sean Johnson move. No problem with that. That's a great opportunity. Rudy says not a great shot, but a corner. Yeah, agreed 100%. Good stuff. With two defenders attacking, I'm totally fine with that. I'm not expecting a whole lot more out of Victor Bogac. Maybe I should be, but Johnson had to get down, going short side on him. I'm fine with that. And New York gets a corner. Again, if the Red Bulls are able to make this go, New York looks like they're hopping up the table in a big, bad way. Mm. All right. Yep, Matt. Matt said Toronto's defenders took away the far side of the net, so I had to go near side. Not a bad effort at all. The header by Ayla is goes wanting. I think that's safe to say. Again, this game is going, I think, as I would have thought it would, with New York taking an early lead. Toronto just had that nice run of possession, really from like the 30th to the 36th minute, where they looked dangerous. weren't good in finishing, but had the ball in dangerous spots. It looks like they've taken their foot off the gas, and New York has slowed it down a bit. Get up. Keep going. Keep playing. All right, now they'll hold up and see what the Toronto injury is. It's Montlouis Trémal, who's down on the BMO turf. If you haven't and are watching on the YouTube, the liking, the subscribing, please do so. Our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, if we can, by the end of the season. So we really appreciate any likes and any subscribes that you are doing. The Red Bulls lead 1-0 against Toronto FC in the 39th minute at BMO Field in Toronto. And you are watching Seeing Red's live watch along of the match. Thank you so much. We will get out, I think, an abbreviated episode of Seeing Red to recap this game and preview the Red Bulls hosting Minnesota. Let me ask you this in the chat. Are you excited that Keeper's Restaurant has opened across the street from Red Bull Arena? And are you planning from Sports Illustrated Stadium? And are you planning on visiting anytime soon? I've got a table there for 6 o'clock on Saturday night. I'm hoping that I can get in and out before the game. We're going to give that a try for Saturday. Montlouis is really hurt. Is this the turf? Is this the turf monster? Rudy Sefrin, who wins the commenting award so far for the night, saying not to look ahead, but the game on the weekend is looking more and more like a tough one. Yeah, no, absolutely, it's a tough one. Minnesota is a quality side. Let's see. Got the MLS East here. Can we break this out? I'll get the MLS table. Minnesota is a quality side for sure. In is Cumming Thompson to replace Montlouis on the Toronto back line. Should results hold, and I understand that we're in the first half, New York would be 4 points out of second in the East, which, all things considered, I think was just fine. Thank you to everyone that's watching live. All right, Montlouis is being helped off. He is clearly done. I'm wondering if the turf at BMO Field is having an effect on the players. We saw Lewis Morgan go down and out earlier in this match, and now Montlouis for Toronto is being helped off the field. He can barely walk, it seems like, which looks like a knee ligament. What do I know? I'm no doctor, but really very unfortunate here. Thompson getting his direction from Robin Fraser before he comes in. 2 injury substitutions in the first half of a match is not what anyone wants to see. Kosi Thompson is Canadian. He's 22 years old. He has 12 starts and played in 14 matches. Toronto, he does not have a goal and an assist. He also has 5 yellow cards in his 2025 appearances, and he is taking Mon Louis' spot on the Toronto backline. All right, let's play 42nd minute. Sean Johnson starting it off. Played out. This 1-0 lead is tenuous, right? We've seen Toronto with a couple of good scoring opportunities and poor finishing strikes in this game, and you never ever want to. I mean, New York is not in control of this game at 1-0. They are not in control, and we've seen some emergency defending from Raheem Edwards and from Alexander Hack in order to keep Toronto off the scoreboard and really prevent them from even getting good looks. Is that a foul? I'm not so sure. Daniel Edelman isn't sure. Raheem Edwards is pissed. I am too. Edelman's growing his hair out. Now Longstaff is down and cranky. I can't imagine he is significantly injured. And not for nothing, but Hack should not be talking to the official. It really should only be the captain, Emil Forsberg. Can we play, please? We've had a lot of not playing soccer over the last 10 minutes. There will certainly be questions for Sandra Schwartz after this match. Schwartz, of course, is not on the bench tonight because of yellow cards he has picked up over the course of the season. So Schwartz is suspended for this match. So his assistants are manning the bench for this game. But we will hear from him after the match. And we'll have those comments. That's a goal kick. And we'll have those comments most likely on Seeing Red tomorrow or early Friday when we get ready to preview Minnesota's visit. Other than that big push, here's Toronto again. Ooh. Look at that speed from Sofo. Absolutely fantastic working back. Well done. I saw a ranking of MLS goalkeepers that some Instagram content confab put together. They ranked Carlos Coronel as 13th best on the list, and I was not having it at all. At all. It's ridiculous. He's a top 5 MLS goalkeeper this year, for sure. There's going to be a healthy amount of first half injury time. That is absolutely not a penalty. It is a corner, though. Rudy says, let's not give the ball away, please. Indeed. I feel like without Insigne, without Bernadeschi, this is, I mean, as I said on the top, Toronto scored only 17 times this season, and Bernadeschi and Insigne combined have a third of those goals. I wish my monitors would stay in my ears. That would be good. All right, here's the corner. There's the playback in again. Wow, that was pretty dreadful. Jeff Cooley says we've had to make more big defensive stops than Toronto. That is true, but on the other hand, we have made the stops. So yes, we certainly don't want to have to do these. Wow, this ball played in. Ooh, Raheem Edwards. Raheem Edwards on the back post. That's not who you want. Rudy tells me Spanish commentators were screaming goal thinking it went in. It did not. New York contains and remains on top 1-0. 6 minutes of added time as we work our way down towards halftime. This is a release valve for New York to get the ball just up the field. Now, we know that New York does not bunker, and you would hate to think that up a goal on the road that they would go into some sort of defensive crouch. New York truly, truly needs to get the second goal. Mhm. Toronto can absolutely play the ball around its back line. I have no issue with that. They are very adept at moving the that's a foul or a push or no? No, it is not. Interesting non-calls tonight from the ref. Ugh, this is slow moving through the midfield. Slow. That's a good find. Work it, work it. I'm fine with this. Just slowing it down. Slow it down. But Toronto has a couple of times this year pressed to some great effect. And that's an unfortunate ball, but at least trying to go forward. New York's possession advantage is down to 52 to 48. Second running out? Yes, it is. This is about the time of the game that I just start thinking out loud. Get to halftime, please. If it's only 77 in Toronto, this is not exactly a tough atmosphere to play in, especially since BMO Field looks like it's about a quarter full. And I know, right? Don't throw stones, but come on. I think Saturday night's going to have a huge crowd. Good win. That's a really good win. Oof. This is good. A lot of choices. Yes, yes. 1-on-3 rarely works out in the attacking box. Oh dear. Oh boy, Toronto is terrible. Toronto is absolutely terrible. Derek. We've seen Derek Etienne do that at Red Bull Arena plenty, but wow. Wow. This is a good breakdown by Toronto. Oh, oh my Caesar. Oh. And that's why Toronto scores a goal a game, ladies and gentlemen. That was just god awful. You've got to put that on frame. Put it on frame. I'm not rooting for Toronto, but come on, man. New York leads in shots. That's true but ridiculous. New York has really got to tighten it up. They're not making those runs. They're just not doing it. I think without Lewis, they are still a little shell shock going forward, unfortunately. Coming to the 50th minute, that's a great knockaway. Who is your first half MVP so far? Who is the player that has stood out through the first half of this game? Yeah, that's not happening. From Cornell. Can we please have halftime, please? You can make an argument for Sofo being your first half MVP. You can make an argument for Hack being your first half MVP. Even Raheem Edwards with a great defensive stop. Cornell really hasn't had to do anything. Sofo, but also Kevin Brun says Sofo is everywhere, but also let's go Mets. I will tell you, the game has reached halftime, even though it hasn't reached halftime for real. Oh my goodness. The Mets have scored 6 runs in one game, and lead Atlanta 6-1 in the fifth. Well done. It is halftime. The Red Bulls and Toronto FC. I hope that you're enjoying. I'm Mark Fishkin. This is the Seeing Red Live watch along. If you would like to go move away from your computer for a minute, please do. Take a break, take a stretch. I'm going to stay in my chair. I'm going to flex my myself to make sure I don't get DVTs. All in all, I thought that was a good half. We're going to go to Blue Sky for a minute and just say up 1 at half. Your one word RBNY review. So join us there. If you want to put your one word review right in the chat right here, we'll take a serious look at those as well. Rudy says Sofo, and not just because of the goal, he's been ready to win the ball back as soon as it's lost. Agreed 100%, Rudy. That makes a ton of sense. A ton of sense for Sofo for MVP of the first half. Again, let's go to the larger MLS scoreboard. Nashville has tied the match in New England. 1-1 is the score there at half. Columbus is rocking and rolling all over Atlanta United, up 3-0 at lower.com field. Cincinnati has a goal as they're looking to climb up the table as well. They have a 1-0 lead at last place Montreal. You're watching the Seeing Red Live watch along of the Red Bulls at Toronto FC. Brian Shea has a novel. Let's get this in here. First half MVP, absolutely no contest. Sofo, he not only created the goal, he scored it, and obvious and arguably our best defensive player. Also learned that Hack is slow as molasses and Edwards is a huge liability. Wait, you learned these things tonight? Having both of them on our back line at the same time versus a quality team would have us down 2-1 right now. And yet, Toronto is not a quality team that's won 3 times all year in 17 games, and there'll be squad rotation for Minnesota on the weekend. And you say that Hack is slow as molasses, Brian. However, he made a fantastic kick-out tackle to prevent a shot on Corbianu in the second half of that first half. So, again, on the live table, all 3 bottom teams in the East are losing to teams in the top half. The Red Bulls right now are 5th on the live table, 6 points behind second place FC Cincinnati and 7 points behind first place Philadelphia Union. And of course, as we know, those teams are going to meet twice in the first few week of July, first in the Cup and then in the league. So keep that in mind. 1 second, we got a quick text. Great. All right, we're looking at some first half highlights, and we can see the goal. It was really Sopo that handed off to Forsberg, that went to Lewis Morgan, that went back to Sopo on the rebound, scoring the goal of the match, the only goal of the match. Terrific. Sofo's 5th goal of the season, tying him with Emil Forsberg for second on the team. Both are trailing Chupo with 10 goals. Right, here's the play. They're showing Hack tracking back Corbianu, laying out in front of the attacker as Ayla gets bodied off the ball. That's a Bundesliga play. Absolutely a Bundesliga play from a Bundesliga player. Then they're showing the restart here. Who were the players? That lot of ball watching, Ayla looking around. There's the run on the back post. I mean, that should have been in the net. Thompson should have put that in the net. Should be 1-1. Almost was. Our friend Rudy said Sandra needs to go all in for that cup game. Semis at home or at stake. I mean, they have to go all in for the cup game to win the cup game and continue to keep playing in the cup. But yes. Rohan Chatterjee with his one-word review says, uneasy, remarking to Lewis Morgan's knee. That is absolutely fantastic. And the only contribution so far, that is a lock. That's a dead pipe lock to win one-word halftime review. Thank you for the likes. We really appreciate it. We've got a good group here, 12 of us watching in both on YouTube and on Facebook. Again, as we say before, we say again, the liking, the subscribing, really, really important. The Red Bulls lead in XG 1.36 to 1.05. Wow, Toronto all the way up to 1 goal on the XG. And you can see, again, why they only have 13 points after 17 and a half games. And that's because, thank you for the liking, only because, woof. Again, a reminder, this Toronto team last beat the Red Bulls in regulation way back in July of 2019. That's almost 6 years ago. 13 matches. And New York has a couple of wins in Toronto on the streak. A few draws as well. But this Toronto team is not good. Hold on one sec. Just cut for a minute. Hello. If you've just tuning in, we're watching the Red Bulls of Toronto FC live. This is Seeing Red, the New York Soccer Roundup. Since 2010, we've been covering the New York Red Bulls. We did it in audio only for a long time. This is our second year on Facebook doing it with the video. I had hoped that my friend Mike Batista would be joining at some point. Perhaps he will, perhaps he won't. It's all good either way. Let's go back to some comments and see what people are saying. DJ Bonus Beats, with these injuries, we really need to bring another attacker in the window. Well, we don't really know what Lewis is dealing with right now. They did bring in an attacker in Victor Bogash. I mean, he's the guy that we brought in. He's the young guy that we brought in. It looks like they will definitely replace Carvalho, that this is his last game as a New York Red Bull, as he will be going back most likely to South America next week. Anything new on the rumor of the new Polish center midfielder? Yes, DJ Bonus Beats. When the team, first of all, understand how this works. The team won't talk about it until it opens. We can ask Sandro about it. He will say, when it comes to adding new players, you have to talk to Jokin. Jokin doesn't talk to the team until the window is open and they've made their move. So it can be somewhat tricky in terms of getting anything. They will not talk about a player before he's signed. They just won't do it. Hey Mark, I blame the first half of the season on my gallstones and gallbladder surgery. TJ, I hope you are well. I hope you are recovering. Thank you for sharing with our listeners all across the internet about your condition. I would not necessarily call this a shaky first half of the season, to be honest with you. They played 9 times in 28 days in May. I don't know. I think they're doing just fine. If they win tonight and the results stay the same, they'll be 5th in the East, 7 points out of first. I don't think this is a shaky season. I think this is a fine season. They've won 3 of their last 4 in the league. They finished their run winning 6 of 8. Later tonight, Chicago hosting Philly, which may play a little bit. Chicago, they can get to 28 tonight if they beat Philly. That would be really nice. Sports Illustrated Stadium concerts. Okay. All right, Brady. Thanks again for watching. It's halftime. Eastern teams playing right now. Charlotte, who is currently 10th, they're playing in St. Louis. No, Sorry. Where is Charlotte? They're playing Sporting KC. That match is kicking off any minute. Other Eastern teams in action tonight. NYCFC. Nope, that's not this week. Okay. NYCFC's off. Must be TJ's pain meds kicking in. All right, TJ. Well, I hope you have a nice loopy time as you watch the second half with us. All right. More one-word reviews from Blue Sky. More groan, quadriceps uneasy. MGNES just says why. I mean, this is even Matthew, who's watching live, is taking part. Winner and sad. Mohamed Sofo's heat map. All right. Teams are back on the field. Looks like the Red Bulls are coming out on the field. I mean, Toronto had the chances to do more with this match. That is a whole lot of missed nets. Derek Etienne has been a big part of that. He is upset. Halftime report. I know the reasons why this can't happen, but boy, I wish there was a halftime highlight package that would be stitched together and pitched that to take place in the halftime of MLS season pass games. I mean, there's so many games happening right now. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of 15 MLS Eastern teams are playing right now. 12. We should be able to see action and not just posting scores on a graphic, right? They should be able to show us all the goals. TJ say thoughts of no, I assume Red Bulls voted to MLS All-Star game. I mean, can we say that Red Bulls deserve to be in the All-Star game? Is Carlos Cornell one of the top 3 goalkeepers in the league? You might say yes. Is Choupo-Moting's 10 goals enough to get him an All-Star bid? I'm not sure when 4 of them come via the spot. To be fair, I don't know. And I would rather also not have our players away during that week. I mean, I know it's we should feel good, and it's an honor to have these teams, these players make the All-Star game. And I don't know if you guys saw the All-Star jersey, which is incredibly plain, just plain. I just think the All-Star game in 2025, with all the soccer going on, is just not needed. I just don't think you need it. There's enough international soccer happening. It's a sports marketing boondoggle, really. And don't get me wrong, Austin in late summer is absolutely atrocious weather. It's really bad there. Not much worse than New Jersey. DJ Bonaspeed says Edelman has leveled up this year. His impact on the mentality of the team has been more valuable than in years past. I agree. When Edelman has been out of the lineup due to injury, you absolutely see the difference. Absolutely. TJ says All-Star jersey equals Costco template. Yeah, I mean, it's boring. I wouldn't buy it. But I'm an old man, and I don't buy jerseys anymore unless they're super special. It looks like a beautiful night. I would hope that either you do something on the level of what the NHL did for the All-Star game, or don't bother. The calendar is too crowded with Leagues Cup and international games and World Cup qualifying for a lot of international players in MLS. They don't have time to do a series of games. I agree that the NHL's four-nation face-off this winter was absolutely riveting, and it was great. It was also really short. It was like a week and had a lot of energy. Put down that flag. That's very clever. Rudy Sauron completely forgot about Leagues Cup. Leagues Cup's coming in July. It's coming real soon. The Red Bulls are going to have 3 games, and we'll be talking about them on Seeing Red. If you're just joining us, it's halftime in Toronto as the Red Bulls and Toronto FC are in the huddles. Victor Bogac stays on the field. I don't think there have been any changes. This is a young lineup for New York. Let's see. Let's count the youth. Sofo's young. Edelman, you can still say is young. Bogac is young. Who else is young? Carmona is still young. Noah Ill is young. It's not exclusively a young lineup. The game is back on. It is the second half. Here we go. Rudy says, come on, boys, get it done. Yes, get it done. And please stop being susceptible to these counters. That's an interesting ball floated in. And again, if you're just joining us now, I'm not doing a strict play-by-play. You're watching the game. I'm watching the game. Here we go. Ooh. So New York going to get the corner? They are. That's a great way to start the second half. Yeah, I like Sofo a whole lot. He has been, during a year where Lewis Morgan may have almost no impact on this team. The opportunity given to Sofo and his ability to take that opportunity in a way, frankly, that Dennis Yengar just kind of hasn't taken the opportunity has been great. All right, we're getting ready here. 76 degrees. Oh! Is that a corner? That is another corner. Noah L is going to get his head or his foot on one of these one day. He wants one of these so badly. He still still sees that opportunity in Atlanta in his dream. Carvaggio's last corner for the Red Bulls ever. Ooh, that's headed right to Sean Johnson. All right. That gets a supportive clap. That's what you want to see. Hill heading it down. Again, he wants one of these so badly. He'll get one. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes. Appreciate it. Look at that switch by Toronto. They've got 3 attacking players against 2 New York defenders on that side. And look at that. Look at that. The midfield all moving up at the same time. Oh, that's going to get pulled right back to the spot. Okay. Ooh. Nervy times. Oh, my Lord. Wow. Win probability up to 76.3. I'm not saying that. Plus 275. I'm not the one saying that. It's DraftKings saying that. Next goal is crucial. Will there be one? I don't like the idea of the Red Bulls chasing in their own defensive third. That is not where it's at. The more Sean Johnson knows what to do with that. Mm-hmm. That's a good feed. Oh, Raheem. Where will Morales be ready to play? I know he played at Red Bulls too. I know he came off. I know he's listed as healthy. Is he on the sheet tonight? Valencia is there. Parker, Nealis, Sean Nealis, Yengar, Donkor, Hall, and Serge Goma. Rudy writes in the chat, all hail DraftKings. I am not going to put that on the screen because I am not getting paid to do that. Sorry. I hope you're all enjoying this. I'm having a good time too. DTT. 1-0 Red Bulls in the 50th minute. Again, we know that New York doesn't really know how to go into a defensive posture, although there have been certainly times where Schwartz has been very comfortable adding a third center back in order to close out games. Come on. That's very ballsy. Oh, and not good. Oh my lord. You know, sometimes it's okay just to clear the ball. Sometimes you don't have to play it back to the keeper. Sometimes it's okay just to play it off the side or just to boot it up the field. Sometimes possession doesn't matter. Look at that. Come on. Oh no. What is happening? I mean, New York had to know that there was a counterpunch coming from Toronto, coming out of the locker room at half. Ugh. Did he touch it? He did. Raheem Edwards, ladies and gentlemen. New York has had some challenges dealing with Toronto corners throughout and restarts throughout this game. Coelho was the player that got the goal in Harrison earlier. Come on, guys. Mm-hmm. Need height here. Height. Ugh. Oh, my heart. Oh, absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Garbage defending by New York. Just dreadful. Really embarrassing. Really embarrassing. That was coming, says Rudy. Yep. Oh, I thought I had changed that. There we go. Ugh. So much ball watching. What is Bogoch doing? Everyone has to defend. Victor Bogoch is standing and watching. Come on. I mean, all right, he's not super close. Carvaggio left him. It's just so embarrassing. So embarrassing. And this is what happens when you don't go and get the second goal. And now Toronto is completely revived and they smell blood and they smell their fourth win of the season, even though it's only the 52nd minute. Oh, what's happening? Oh, what's happening? Are we looking? What are we looking at? Yes, you should. What is happening? Keep in mind, I don't have the sound on. Rick, what are you doing? Why are you here? DJ Bonus came out flat. Are they calling an offside? Oh, yes, they are. Are they calling Derek Etienne for shading the keeper? I guess they're not. All right. Came out flat. I know. I love you, buddy. All right. The Red Bulls and Toronto FC are tied at BMO Field. Should the results hold, New York will be down up to 7th in the East. One tied with NYCFC for 8th, but NYCFC will have a game in hand. Not great. Not great. All right. So what does this team have? They got kicked in the teeth. That is not a ball that Victor Bogoch is going to get. Come on. New York has to build their way back into this game. They're now giving 60% of the possession. Jeffrey Cooley says, it looks like we needed Sandro in the locker room. Yes, we know that Sandro Schwartz usually has halftime adjustments that work really, really well. Well, they didn't have him tonight in the locker room because he is suspended with yellow cards. Oh, there's a foul. New York is going to have to build their own momentum to get back on top in this game. And they don't have Lewis Morgan to do that with, as Morgan was subbed out with injury in the early first half hour of this game. New York has not shown a ton other than Victor Bogac's shot to the short side against Sean Johnson. When was the last time New York had a shot on goal? It's been some time. Let's check it. Not since the 37th minute that Noah Ayla's header off the corner that New York has had a shot. That's, that's 18 minutes ago in game time. That's not great. That is a foul. Oh, my stars. That's ridiculous. New York is 500 all time at Toronto FC. And again, and I don't know if the announcers have shared this, and I know that you guys know, but Toronto hasn't beaten New York in regulation in 6 years. And they still have Insigne on the bench, should they choose to bring him in. But right now, Toronto is doing everything they're supposed to. Everything they're supposed to. That's a great tackle. But New York is rushing. What is Wiki doing? Thank God it's Raheem Edwards. Okay, here we go. That's good and smart. You got to step to the ball. Okay. There's lots of room to turn and go, Wiki. New York continuing to carry it around and possess, which is exactly what you want. Here's Ayla to Edwards. Wow. Wow. Say what you want about. Oh, no. Is Edwards hurt or is he just cranky? Rudy Severin says, what a save. I don't usually think that Raheem Edwards is putting. Wow, that's tremendous. I don't usually think that Raheem Edwards is usually one and take a shot like that. I think that was going over, nevertheless. Charles Atkinson, it seems like Wiki always hits a dead end and runs in a circle and dishes it back. I agree. Oh, no. Edwards is hurt. What is happening with this field? It looks like when players are planting to shoot or planting to pass that there's a problem. Now, the CFL's Toronto Argonauts also play on this surface. Could there be divots in the field? Thank you, Charles, for your thought. Ugh. We talked about this on Seeing Red quite a bit about Wiki, and we talked about it during our first half season grades event. But it definitely does appear that Wiki's development has kind of held up a little bit over the last year and a half, right? He lost his starting spot. He was playing down at the 2 team. He is back and playing. And again, I've talked about, I just don't know that the Red Bulls know where his natural position is or where he needs to be. I know he wants to be wider. Bonus Beats says Wiki doesn't go direct at times he should and goes 1v1 at the wrong times. Yeah. I mean, again, he's 22. We like to think of him as a veteran. This is not great. Out comes Raheem Edwards. I mean, I can't I know I said that. This isn't great. Please tell me that they've subbed him in, that they've subbed someone in. Jeff says, can we trade Edwards' injury for Morgan's? That's not how any of this works. But certainly Morgan appears to be more important to New York's success than Sean Johnson, than Lewis Morgan, than Raheem Edwards. Sorry, guys. 9 o'clock. 30 minutes to go. The Red Bulls and Toronto FC are tied at 1. Tied at 1. With Insigne still on the bench for Toronto. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that Omar Valencia needs to be in this game. Oh, boy. Oh. You know Derek Etienne wants nothing better than to score the game winner against his former team. Nothing better. There's no more. And here comes Serge Goma and Ronald Encore into the match. And so New York is, just playing line change. Yes, it is a NHL style line change, says Matt Burlew. We'll get you caught up on all the changes in a minute. Edwards out, Valencia in. Oop. Wiki is out for Serge Goma, who could really pick now to make a difference for this team and move from showing lots of potential to actually doing. And Ronald Onkar is on for Felipe Carvalho. And we've talked about this all night. That is most likely the end of Felipe Carvalho's Red Bulls career, as his loan is ending in just a few days' time. He will be still eligible to play on the weekend. Can New York's new young guns? That's a terrific pass that Forsberg runs over his foot. Can New York's new young players? I mean, this is an incredibly young team now. Can they make the difference and get New York a win on the road at Toronto and keep this unbeaten streak alive? That would be really great. I don't know if the humidity in Toronto has been what's keeping the Red Bulls from showing a lot of lackluster energy here. But this second half has been mostly bleh. The top 5 teams in the East are all up in their games. And New York really needs to get a win here to stay close. Oh. Ugh. Philadelphia's up. Cincinnati's up. Nashville has gone ahead of New England. Columbus is cruising up 3-1 over Atlanta. Orlando City started late. Show me some scores. Orlando City's up 3-0 at St. Louis in the first 24 minutes of that match. Right now, New York has to win this game just to keep pace with the leaders in the East. This night has really turned on its head, not only with Lewis Morgan going out with an injury, but also New York giving up a goal at Toronto. And if they are not willing to pick it up, they're going to find themselves 5 points out of 5th place, and that is not where they want to be. A win will keep them close to the pack. And I don't think that anyone is gonna confuse the New York Red Bulls right now as as a MLS, excuse me, cup contender or as a threat to top the East. But you've gotta stay close, and this is absolutely a winnable game on the road against one of MLS's worst teams that hasn't played in a month, that is playing without one and a half of their DPs. Win the ball. That's gotta be a foul. It is, and a yellow. That's very good by Serge. Very good. This is what we need to see. It's this kind of energy. 25 minutes to go. Let's push. Let's get ahead here. That's just, oh my God. That's, you're not going to give a straight red on that to Coelho, but yikes. Big yikes. 25 minutes to go. That's a nice floaty ball. Ugh. I have said this numerous times. Defenders should not be shooting from 30 yards away. Ever. I know the ball comes to you, and I know it looks all big, and I know you say to yourself, I maybe played forward at one time in my career. I can absolutely make this. Don't do it. And I know that Toronto's playing out of the back here, but like good things happen when you hold the ball. Oh, that's New York's trying to putting it together here. All right. All right. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't want Noah to shoot from there. I don't think he will get one of those eventually. Sean Johnson is a great shot stopper. He's been in this league a real long time. Come on, Omar. Who are these poor schmageggs sitting behind the goal line here? They have the whole section to themselves. That could have been better. Oh, all right. Like if ugh, a good idea for Metalman, but in a similar way. Like, what are you doing? The odds of making that connection are so, so slim because this team doesn't make those kind of runs in the attacking third. They just aren't there yet. Mm-hmm. Mets still doing Mets things. Good stuff. Bonus Beat says it's crazy how instantly Omar raises the play of the left back position right away. Yes. Yeah, okay. I get that. I get that. I think that Noah Ayla is not Jacob Glesnes. Oh, all right. I get it. I just don't think he's there yet. It's okay for us to disagree. 22 minutes to go. Look at those shirtless Toronto fans in the 75-degree weather. Crazy talk. Tomorrow, the high in the New York area will be what, 79? I'm all for that. Ugh. Free headers in the box on corners is not a recipe for success for this team. They are really you know who they really miss? They really miss Sean Nealis. They really miss Sean Nealis. Sean Nealis eats those balls for lunch. Really does. Oof. All right. Here comes Omar. Understand what Valencia was trying to do there. Can't lose this game on a night where all the top 5 teams in the East are pulling away. They're all up. Again, Orlando dropping by. Waleed, Red Bulls will win? I don't know. They sure could. I'd sure like them to. I think this game is a toss-up right now with 20 minutes to play. And Toronto hasn't really made any subs. They made the injury sub, but that's it. Oh, what am I doing here? Yes. Great minds think alike. Mm-hmm. Let's look at those facts. Yeah, only the one sub from Toronto. Toronto has 7 players out of this game. A number of them with the Canadian national team. A number of them are not are hurt. Bernadeschi didn't dress. Oof. All right. I mean, and this is a game that's a foul. You have to give that. Forsberg has not gotten that call all night. Your prediction based on watching the match now? That's a good question, Waleed. I mean, the way New York has been defending corners and restarts so badly, I really could see Toronto pulling this out. New York's got to show me a little bit more in the attack. Oh no, no, come on, get up, Serge. I can't. I cannot. Ridiculous. I need to see New York's attack click to make this go. Again, only one sub so far from Toronto, and New York only has one sub remaining. And that's why New York waited to bring on Valencia, because they only have 3 windows to make those changes. So they're keeping that last one in the pocket. Who is on the bench? Nealis, Parker, Yenger, Hall, and Marcucci. I don't know who you bring in now to make a difference. I think from an attacking standpoint, obviously Forsberg has got to play it out now. It's not the pass you want. Players got to get wide. Come on, get wide. They've got to show. Ooh. Oh. There you go. Find him. That's really a ball that Valencia's got to take to the line. Go forward. Oh, dear, Forsberg. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing from New York in the attack to think that there's another goal coming right now. I'm not seeing it. If you're seeing it, that's terrific. I just don't see it yet. Let's see what's coming here. Is that in? No. Very frustrating. On Blue Sky, Martin Hollander says the terrible set piece defending continues. 4 or 5 coaches in a row now. I think, as we talked about a few minutes ago, I think Sean Nealis being on the bench tonight is a big reason as to why that's the case. Forsberg and Bogac don't seem to know how to work together yet. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And that's a big reason why things aren't really cooking. Also, look where Forsberg is getting the ball. He's getting the ball, for my money, too deep. That's a BS call. I think he's getting the ball too deep in the formation. And he, I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of Donkor so far this year. He really is kind of the odd man out of this defensive midfield. He hasn't made the jump this year. He's been hurt a little bit, but like we need to see more. Yeah, it just looks like New York hasn't they don't know how to go forward. Their spacing seems off. Oof. Oh dear. Rudy clearly about 15 seconds ahead of me. What is happening? Coming down to it. 15 minutes to play. What do you think? What's your prediction? Does Red Bull get out of here with a draw? Do they hold the 1 point? Are they coming out here with nothing and we have 2 losses on the trot getting into Harrison this weekend? New York's road record has been absolutely dreadful this year. Dreadful. They can win this game. Okay, he's waiting for it. Oof. That's tough. That's tough. Clattered into by Long. Here come the subs. Devon Kerr, who's dangerous. Dangerous player. Polaris says it feels like a game where Toronto scores in the last 2 minutes of stoppage. Spicer's in the game. I don't know that we wait till the last 2 minutes. I mean, they're bringing in some legs here late in the game. They're going to try to run New York off the field late. I mean, this is a lost season for Toronto. They're going nowhere, right? They have 14 points right now. They are not going anywhere in 2025. Is this the goal? Nope. It's an example of set piece defending. I can't tell what they're talking about. It's just the T-Mobile net cam. All right, Bogosh is running up and down, and he's ready to go. Charles says Long has bullied Bogosh for most of the game anyway. Dennis Younggar getting ready to come in. He is in for Victor Bogosh. So is he playing as a forward? I mean, that was not what I would call an effective performance by Victor Bogosh. And yes, he's young. And yes, he's the biggest transfer out of the Polish second division. But we haven't seen it yet. We saw one fantastic high degree of difficulty finish, but that was it. Surge, do something. Surge looks like he's pushed up as the forward, perhaps, with Yengor playing as a midfielder. Yengor is the last sub. New York has changed all 5 players. One of them because they had to. You can make the argument that Bogosh went out with an injury as well. This is wow. Yep. Okay. This is once again another opportunity for Dennis Yinger to earn more time. I know it's a short. I mean, he looks like he's really out of sorts, Bogoch, and he's like, I'm a long way from home, and it's hot and sweaty. This is Yengor's opportunity to make a difference. Okay. I think that's the first time that we've actually had the ball in their box in 20 minutes. Good. All right. TV has it at concession sub, so we still have one more to make. Okay, but sure. Thank you. Who do you bring in as the 6th sub? Again, you need a goal. Julian Hall is the only attacker left on your bench. Hall, Parker, Nealis, Marcucci. That's the only players that are still available. I don't see a difference maker in the attacking. I mean, sorry. I just don't see Julian Hall as being a difference maker. I just don't see it. 10 minutes to go. Ten minutes to go. Corbianu's goal in the 52nd minute. Equalize against Mohamed Sofo's opener in the 20th. Sofo's still on the field. He'll finish the game. FootMob still has New York's XG larger than Toronto's, which I don't know if I believe in. New York's getting outshot 11-7. Is that a foul? Yes. Putting a little sound on here. Thank you so much for watching. With me on a Wednesday night, the Red Bulls and Toronto FC. Here comes Stepanovic. He looks tall. Is that Longwell coming out? No, it's Rosted coming out. What can I tell you about Stepanovic as he comes in? Lazar Stefanovic is an 18-year-old Canadian defender who has played all of 7 times for 400-plus minutes. I don't know why this has been made. Haha, the Toronto guy fell down. Here we go. Oh, that was the wrong run. Oh, these passes just have to be played faster and harder. Bringing an 18-year-old in when you're trying to win the game. All right. Okay. All right. That's a corner. That's good. I mean, that's a crowded box, but that's good. Is this a corner or a throw? I think it's a throw. Okay. All right. That's what we need to see. Young players stepping up and making a difference with the opportunity they've been given. Thank you, Charles. Says high on the future for Stevanovic. He's also 18 years old, so let's cut him some slack. But yeah, that's a foul. Come on. No one likes to get beat, but there's no reason to pull him down there. 8 minutes to go. Match momentum. The Red Bulls have none of it. None of it. They have no second half momentum. None. Agreed with whoever said earlier that they missed Schwartz's halftime talk. And an injury to Lewis Morgan. That's the story of this game. Stay on target. Good. Bad. Another sub? What's happening? Yep. Yep, here's Julian Hall. He's the last sub. Julian Hall coming in for Sofo. I don't know if Sofo's gassed, but New York has gotten even younger. And I'm curious what the coaching staff is telling the team now. Are they saying, do your best, but if we get a point, we're fine with it? New York looks pretty spread out here. Oof. I would suggest that they play the ball off the side as often as they can during this last phase of the game and not concede corner kicks, please. Given New York's inability to defend these well all night. All night. I don't know if I can watch. There we go. All right. So, who are they going to? Wow, that's interesting. That's some interesting gamesmanship. Cornell shoving down the Toronto player. Here comes Omar. He's got to let loose that ball. I mean, what can Hall do from this position? Well, that's what he could have done. And if Serge was a little bit more attentive, maybe he gets a toe on that. But that's good for the striker to just get a feel, just to get a shot off with 5 minutes to play. Not gonna lie, a 1-1 draw here would be disappointing for me. How is that man not an all-star? How is Carlos Cornell not an all-star with the body block? Get out of the way, Christ. Yep. Where's the second one? Jeffrey Coley's not loving Sofa out of the game. I get that, but if he's not moving, okay. That's a good reset. Look how far wide Hack is. Holy cow. Okay, this is clear. Wow. Forsberg looks absolutely gassed. He's moving, but you can tell 4 minutes before extra time. New York looks spread out. Got to win that. Players holding up. Is that Daniil Henry? Who is that? No, that is not Daniil Henry. This be Henry's first appearance. Younger has been positive. Okay, that one time, yes, sure. Oof. Be a difference maker. Oh boy. Omar must get to that ball. Oh boy. Squeaky bum time. Oh! That is absolutely a foul and a yellow. Mm. Let's see what's happening at the top of the East. 6 of the Charlotte is ahead. A draw will keep New York in 8th. Tied with NYCFC, but City will have a game in hand. And 3 points out of Chicago, who's losing. Oh. Forsberg says, I'll do it myself. Nowhere to go. Oh. Minutes to go. What do you think, viewers? Rudy is making comments, but he is so far ahead of me in the stream that I don't see what he sees. He's a good 15 seconds ahead of me. That was garbage. Now we can play it. That was bad. Effectiveness on set pieces not there. Forsberg doesn't really have a target. We're into the 90th minute in Toronto. Again, Philly's winning, Cincy's winning, Nashville's winning, Columbus winning, Orlando's winning, Charlotte's winning. New York could find an equalizer. It would really help. Also consider Miami is ahead of New York right now. They have 3 matches in hand because of their play in the Club World Cup. Are they calling that a corner? No. Here we go. There's plenty of time to do something. Plenty of time. New York's going to have to put together a nice combination. Oh, I like that. Okay. All right. That's a good way to start off injury time. On the weekend, Columbus takes on Philly, Cincinnati, Orlando, Nashville, DC United. Miami will play Montreal eventually. Here it comes. Johnson with a good punch. What can the Red Bulls do? Why is Hack playing on the wing? Oh, come on. Just a very, very poor possession. They're going to get the ball back, but it's got to be better than that. New York would really do themselves a world of good staying close at the top of the East if they can find the go-ahead goal here. That is not it. Not it. Noah Ayla's got to be careful. Got to be careful. What is Sean Johnson doing? It's all about disrupting the rhythm. It's all about disrupting the rhythm ahead of this free kick. Or throw, excuse me. For Toronto, just getting a point will be a good thing. They've only got 14 on the season, 13 on the season coming in. Here's the throw. This ref has had a lot of non-calls tonight. They need to generate a scoring opportunity off of this possession. Already in the 3rd minute, injury time. I mean, whoop. Oof. I mean, all right. It's not exactly how they drew it up on the chalkboard, but sure, a shot attempt. In my day, playing the ball on the while you're on the ground is a foul. But who am I? Okay, just want the ball away from your goal. Just get it away from your goal. Really appreciate everyone that's stayed with this watch along. Whether you tuned in at the first minute or you've been watching all night long, we really appreciate you joining to watch Red Bulls at Toronto. New York going to get a point on the road. They're going to give it up. They're going to get over the line here. What's going to happen? We're running down. That's not a good foul by Alexander Hack at all. Muy malo. Not good. Cincinnati's win is final. Columbus's win is final. Hey, everybody. You're just joining us. Thanks for watching. We're watching injury time. We're in the 5th minute of injury time, 5th of 7, as the Red Bulls try to hold on. Try to hold on. They took a lead with Mohamed Sofo's goal in the 20th. They conceded in the 52nd. Anytime now, my man. Let's get this going, please. Another header on another restart that missed the net. Once again, Toronto is able to get their head to a free kick in the New York box. Absolutely baffling, and again speaks to the lack of Sean Nealis, and that ball by Coronel is too far. And that is not going to help us at all. At all. Thanks, DJ Bonus Beats. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Appreciate it. I don't know if the team has too many weeknight road games again. I will most likely be in Philadelphia for the Open Cup game. So I'll not be doing this there. Oh my God, Lord, just get the ball. Oh, Carlos Coronel earning it as he's been doing all season long. That may not have been the most challenging shot ever. Oh my Lord. You know, the casual passes out of the back. Come on. All right. All right. We're in the 7th minute of injury time. The Red Bulls have a corner. I think the Youngor has done some good stuff during his short appearance in this game. He's definitely earned it. Nashville and New England are in injury time. Philadelphia's up 1 in Chicago at half. Charlotte's leading at Sporting KC at half. Here we go. 5 corners to 4. New York leading in the corner department. This is most likely the last true attacking opportunity for the Red Bulls, and it'll be Omar Valencia to take it. Time ticking down. Desperately need this goal. They didn't get it. Is New York going to get that ball? It's a final. New York and Toronto finish 1-1. New York is in 8th place in the East. They watched 2 points slip away on a night where Lewis Morgan is hurt again. Comes out of the off the field after 28 minutes. Listen, thank you so much for watching. You're subscribing, you're liking. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone who joined in. Yes, agree. It's a disappointing draw. It's not a loss. New York absolutely should have won. Here are a collection of thoughts from everyone that's watching. Nobody's happy about this result. But again, on we go. Minnesota on the weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Seeing Reds live. Watch along. Be well, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you.